Wine and friends are a great blend. Ernest Hemingway. Bonjour! My name is David DeVere. I'm a wine educator and traveler, and you're watching Savvy Nomad TV. This is the Eau de Vie edition. This is day 12 of the Costco Wine Adventure Around the World 24-Day Box. And I couldn't agree with Hemingway more. Wine and friends, they are a great blend, and I'm glad to have you here, my friends, watching this and doing this with me. It's odd to stand in your corner of your living room, which is what I'm doing, and talk to a camera, but eventually maybe you'll leave me a comment down below and say hi, because that's fun. Digital friends, who knew we could even have such a thing? Hemingway never imagined the world we have now. I didn't either. Let's get into the wine today. Here we are, halfway through. Number 12 is here. Oh, no. Oh, well, that's 24. It's fallen down. All right. I was like, that's scary. That's an open spot. No wine. Okay, back to 12. It's a rosé. It's from Italy. You know the system. Ice, bucket, water, 4 minutes. 4 minutes for me to ramble on about rosés. What can you really say about a rosé? Well, you can talk about how they make wine, because a rosé is part of that process. It's a choice that the winemaker makes when producing wine. Now, I'm going to blow your mind for a minute. Are you ready? All grape juice is white. Yeah, I'm going to say it again. All grape juice is white. So red grapes, white juice. White grapes, white juice. There's only 2 types of grapes. Although Gewürztraminer is a kind of a rose-colored, slightly purplish grape, but it makes white juice like all the other grapes do. So where does the color come from? The color comes from the skins. It's juice contact with the skins, and that extracts color from the skins, and that's how you get colored juice. Okay, so what's the process of making wine? It's very simple. It's like this. You take grapes, you squish them. Well, really, they'll do that themselves if they're ripe enough and in a big enough pile, they'll squish juice out. And that juice runs out, and if you leave that juice in contact with the grape skins that are red or even black Pinot Noir, come on, you know, it's Pinot Noir means black pine cone. Anyway, if you leave it in contact with that, it will extract the color and you'll get red wine. So winemakers squish the juice, take the juice, ferment the juice, but in that fermentation process, if they're making a red wine, they are going to allow for a period of time called maceration. And in maceration, everything is chopped up and chewed up, and the juice is fermenting, but it's also sitting in a big vat with the skins. And they actually pump the juice over the top of the skins, or they've got these big plungers and they're plunging the skins because skins float. They plunge them down. That's called pressing the cap, and they plunge them back into the juice to get maximum extraction. What does this have to do with a rosé? To make pink juice, you only leave contact with the skins for a limited amount of time. So you've got white juice, little bit of contact with skins, and you get pink juice. Otherwise, long time contact with skins, you get red juice, which red wine, rosé, pink wine. White wine, no skin contact. In fact, the most famous wines in the world, champagnes, are made out of 2 reds and 1 white in general. So the 3 grape varieties that make up most champagnes are Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier, 2 red grapes, and Chardonnay. Yeah, and you know, you had champagne. There's no color in that. I mean, golden, but that's it. Okay, let's crack into our Italian rosé and give it a score. I must confess, I didn't look at the back of the label before I stuck it in the wine bucket and went on my ramble about how they make rosés. But I was filling out the top of my tasting card just now before starting this clip, and I rolled the label around to look for a vintage date, and I noticed the most awesome thing on the label. They tell us here, one, it's from the Rubicon. I don't actually know where in Italy that is. You can Google it. I think it might be south of Rome, but I could be wrong. But they tell us the grape varieties used in the rosé. Oh, pleasureful day. Thank you so much. If the person making the labels or the wine producers are listening to anything, gosh, hear this. I love knowing what the blend is and any other technical information on the label because there's so little. To have some is just a pleasure. So we have a rosé of Sangiovese, the signature Italian red grape Sangiovese. It makes all Chiantis. Keep that in mind. Chianti is actually Sangiovese. That's the variety used. Chianti is the region. So 51% Sangiovese and 49% Merlot. Nice. This is a rosé of two big, bold red wines. Now, it doesn't mean that this thing is going to be better or worse than any other rosé you've ever had, but they're telling us what they've done, how they've made it. And that is appreciated in my book. Now, as I'm opening up rosé, let's talk about that just for a second. Talk about that thing called rosé. I like rosé. Some people might think, men might think, it's not masculine enough. I need to have a cab. I need to have something big and bold. You know what, buddy? Listen up. It's 2023, and if you're not drinking rosés in the summertime when it's hot and nasty, stinky, and sweaty out, you're missing a good time. You're missing some of life's little pleasures because rosé wine on a hot day is so incredibly lovely. And here's the other thing. If you turn your nose up at rosés because you think they're sweet, well, my friends, that's not White Zinfandel in the glass. That's a European-style rosé, and the best rosés come from Provence, the south of France. They're light, they're tart, they're crisp, and they should be inexpensive. They have become more popular of late, but they should be less than 10 bucks. They are in France. If you need to take a trip to France to drink wine, which I do a lot, then you should. Okay, enough rambling. Let's get to tasting. So, what do we got here? Pink. Oh, I get to circle it, finally. Rosé. Et voila. Now, let's give it a smell. This is complicated because we've got a lot of delicate aromas from the Sangiovese and from the Merlot. So what are we going to find? You know, there is a little bit of, it's odd to think about it, but it's a little bit citrusy here. Maybe oranges? Tangerines? Yep. Yep, maybe a little bit of peach. Okay, don't think. Just mark. Glasses. Here we are. Okay. Citrus. I'm going to go yes. Red berries, no. Orchard fruits. Yep. Tropical fruits. What do we get? No, I can't say. You know, and I guess in a tropical fruit, I'm thinking bananas, I'm thinking papayas, I'm thinking lychee, and I don't really have that. Or pineapple. There's no pineapple here. So, okay, down here. Flowers. Yeah, I'm going to say there is a little bit of floral note to this. Vegetables and herbs, nope. Roasted, nope. Earthy, nope. False, nope. Okay, let's give it a taste. It's got a nice body. Okay, here we go. Dry or sweet? Hint of sweetness. 1 dot up. Acidity. It's actually kind of low. My mouth is not watering that much. Slight. Tannins, nope. Alcohol, not noticed. Really low. Come back to preference. Body, medium full body. Balance is nice. Again, how do you grade balance? You think about alcohol, you think about sugars, you think about acidity. Is one of those things really out of sorts? If it is, the balance is bad, and thus it should get a low dot. If the balance is good, it should get a higher dot. And the balance is fine here. Complexity, ooh, complexity. Let's taste it again. Is it complex? Not really. Nope, there's no extra aromas or nuanced flavors here. So very slight. Finish. Finish is good. It's medium or medium minus if you're using one of these older technical terms. Uh, Medium minus, medium plus, low minus, low plus. Those are the things that some tasting journals use. But here I'm thinking it's medium to low. It's not a long finish. So I'll put it here in slight. Okay, let's give it a score. Looks beautiful. It's gorgeous. 3 points. Bouquet is interesting. We'll give it 4 or 5. I'm feeling generous. 5 points. Taste is nice, but it's not the best or most amazing rosé I've ever had. I wouldn't race out to buy a case of it. So 3. Finish is okay. 1 point. Now impression. I'm more impressed by the label than I am the wine. That's silly, but it's true. I will give it 1 point for impression, and the preference is noticeable. All right, I'm going to go do my math and make my shape, and I'll be right back. All right, here are my final scores for our Italian rosé. 13 points, a solid result for this rosé. It's a nice expression. If you're new to rosés, this is what they taste like. They can taste a little more flavorful, a little tartar, a little more intense. They can taste a little more watery. Now, if you're into White Zinfandel, this is not what you expect from a rosé, but frankly, White Zinfandels are too sweet, cloying, not very refreshing, and you wouldn't want to drink that on a summer day when it's hot out. This is perfect for lunch on a hot afternoon. If you make yourself a nice lunch, you go outside, you sit in the shade, you have a bottle of chilled rosé, and your friends along, or your best friend, or your partner, you know what? You're going to have a nice afternoon. Take my word for it. I think this is a nice expression of rosé, and 13 points is a fair score for it. Here's my flavor profile, more interesting than not. I got orange out of 2 big red, bold grape varieties, the Sangiovese and the Merlot. I wouldn't have expected them to express a little bit of orange or tangerine that I got from this, but it did. And I think that's neat. Now, rosé should cost around the $15 mark. I like to buy them closer to 9. Some people spend 20, but I wouldn't spend any more than that. You're not going to get it out. Plus, at $20 plus, that rosé is not going to really be any better than that $15 or maybe even that $9 rosé. Okay, if you've enjoyed this episode, please give me a thumbs up. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. I'll be back for day 13 tomorrow as we slide into the second half of the Advent box, around the world in 24-day box. Until then, I say a tutelare and cheers.
Hi. Okay. Rosé from Italy. Yay. I feel like I smell pears and maybe apples. And maybe something else, but let me give it a sip. It's smooth. It has a bigger body than I thought it would because rosé is usually light. I kind of like it like that. It's got some tartness, which I also like. Makes my mouth water. Thanks. Yum. Cheers.